There's a quiet process happening inside your body right now, and most people never notice it until something starts to go wrong. Your kidneys are working every single minute, filtering your blood, removing waste, balancing fluids, regulating minerals, all without making a sound. No warning, no signal. No discomfort until the pressure builds up over time. And here's what makes this more concerning. Many of the habits that slowly strain your kidneys feel completely normal. The foods you eat, the drinks you rely on, even certain medications you take without thinking twice. None of it feels dangerous in the moment. But inside the body, something very different is happening. Each day, your kidneys are forced to process not just natural waste, but excess sodium, sugar byproducts, inflammatory compounds, and metabolic residue your body was never designed to handle in such constant volume. And over time, that quiet workload starts to add up. I'm Dr. Marcus Evans, a medical doctor and physician, and on this channel, I focus on helping you understand what's really happening inside your body in a clear, grounded way so you can make better decisions before problems begin to surface. If you find this kind of straightforward, practical health guidance useful, consider subscribing. It helps you stay informed without the noise or confusion that often surrounds these topics. Now, here's where things become important. When people hear the word toxins, they often imagine something external, chemicals, pollution, or something dramatic. But in reality, many of the compounds your kidneys deal with every day are created inside your own body. Byproducts of digestion, waste from protein metabolism, excess minerals, even normal cellular activity creates substances that must be filtered and removed. That's the real workload. And when that workload increases because of diet, dehydration, or chronic inflammation, the kidneys don't immediately fail. They adapt, they compensate, they work harder. But that compensation comes at a cost. Imagine a filtration system that's constantly running at higher pressure than it was designed for. At first, it keeps up. But over time, the fine structures begin to wear down. The efficiency starts to drop, and small imbalances begin to appear. That's often how kidney problems begin. Quietly, gradually, and this is where many people get misled, because they wait for symptoms. They expect pain, fatigue, or something obvious to tell them there's a problem. But kidney stress doesn't usually announce itself that way. It builds silently, sometimes for years. Now, here's something even more subtle. Chronic low-grade inflammation, something incredibly common after the age of 60, can slowly affect how well your kidneys function. It doesn't shut them down overnight. It simply makes their job harder, less efficient, more strained. And when that combines with dehydration, high sodium intake, or poor circulation, the system starts to feel the pressure even more. But that's only part of the story. Because what matters here is not just what your kidneys are filtering, it's how well the entire environment inside your body supports that filtration. Blood flow, inflammation levels, oxidative stress. These all influence how effectively your kidneys can do their job. And this is where a small, overlooked factor begins to matter more than most people realize. Not a complicated protocol, not an extreme cleanse, something much simpler. There is one common spice, something you've likely seen hundreds of times that has been studied for its ability to support the internal environment your kidneys depend on. Not by flushing toxins in the way people often think, but by influencing the conditions that determine how well your body manages waste in the first place. And that distinction changes everything. Because when you improve the internal conditions, reduce inflammation, support circulation, and limit oxidative stress, you're not forcing the kidneys to work harder. You're helping them work more efficiently. That sounds like a small difference. But biologically, it's not. And here's where the story starts to shift. Because the real value of this spice has very little to do with detox trends and everything to do with how it interacts with the systems your kidneys rely on every day. But before we get into what it is and how it works, you need to understand one more thing. Most people who try to use natural solutions for kidney support either use the wrong approach or expect results in a way that doesn't match how the body actually works. And that's exactly why many of them never see the benefit they're hoping for. So, in the next part, we're going to look at what this spice is, what it actually does inside your body, and why its effect is often misunderstood, even by people who use it regularly. The spice I'm referring to is turmeric. And while many people know turmeric as the bright yellow powder used in curry or golden milk, what most do not realize is that inside that spice is a compound called curcumin, a natural substance that has been studied extensively for its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Now, before we go further, let's be clear about something important. Turmeric does not clean out your kidneys like a drain cleaner flushing a pipe. That is not how the body works. Your kidneys already detoxify you every moment of the day. What turmeric may do, however, is help support the internal conditions that allow your kidneys to function under less stress. And that distinction matters. Because many kidney problems do not begin with some dramatic toxin overload. They begin with slow, chronic biological wear. Think of your kidneys like millions of microscopic filtration units packed into two small organs. Each tiny filter must constantly handle blood pressure, inflammatory molecules, metabolic waste, mineral balance, and fluid shifts all day, every day. When those filters are exposed to chronic inflammation or oxidative stress, the delicate tissue around them can begin to suffer. And this is where turmeric becomes interesting. Curcumin has been studied for its ability to help reduce inflammatory signaling pathways in the body. In simple terms, it may help calm down some of the biochemical noise that keeps tissues irritated and stressed over time. That matters because inflammation is not just something you feel when you are injured. Low-grade inflammation can quietly affect blood vessels, organs, and filtration tissues long before symptoms appear. And your kidneys are especially sensitive to that. They depend on tiny, healthy blood vessels to deliver a steady supply of blood for filtration. If inflammation begins affecting that vascular environment, kidney efficiency can gradually decline. But turmeric may help in another way as well. It appears to have antioxidant effects, meaning it may help neutralize some of the unstable molecules, often called free radicals, that contribute to cellular wear and tear. Think of oxidative stress like microscopic rust developing inside living tissue. Not enough to destroy things overnight, but enough, over years, to reduce resilience and function. And when oxidative stress combines with inflammation, the result can be a much harsher internal environment for organs that already work under constant pressure. That includes the kidneys. Now, this is where many people misunderstand turmeric. They assume the benefit comes from some kind of immediate flushing action. They drink one turmeric tea and expect to feel detoxed within hours. That is not the real mechanism. Turmeric is not valuable because it creates some dramatic overnight cleanse. Its value lies in the fact that it may begin influencing the biological environment that surrounds your kidneys, reducing inflammatory burden, helping protect cells from oxidative stress, and supporting the vascular health that filtration depends on. In other words, it may help improve the terrain, not force the machine. And that is a far more realistic and medically credible way to think about kidney support. Now here is another layer most people never hear. Some research has suggested that curcumin may help support endothelial function. The endothelium is the thin lining inside your blood vessels, and it plays a major role in circulation, blood pressure regulation, and nutrient delivery. Why does that matter? Because your kidneys receive an enormous amount of blood flow relative to their size. They depend on healthy circulation to do their job properly. If circulation becomes less efficient, if blood vessels become stiffer or more inflamed, filtration can become less efficient as well. So when people say turmeric helps the kidneys, what they often mean, whether they realize it or not, is that turmeric may support several of the underlying systems the kidneys rely on. Reduced inflammatory burden, improved oxidative balance, potential support for vascular function, better overall internal conditions for filtration. That is the real story. And this is why the phrase "flush out toxins instantly" is misleading if taken literally. What some people may notice quickly after adding turmeric to their routine is not toxins suddenly leaving the body. It may be subtle improvements in digestion, less bloating, or simply the feeling of supporting healthier habits overall. But the deeper biological effects, the ones that matter most, occur gradually, through repeated use over time. That's where people get disappointed. They expect fireworks. What they should expect is support. Slow, steady support for systems that are under pressure every day. And once you understand that, turmeric starts to make much more sense. But here's the part almost nobody explains properly. Even though turmeric has promising properties, most people use it in a way that dramatically reduces its effectiveness. They sprinkle a little on food, take random capsules, or drink weak turmeric tea, then assume they're getting the full benefit. In reality, much of turmeric's active compound is notoriously difficult for the body to absorb unless it is prepared the right way. And that means the difference between doing something helpful and doing almost nothing at all often comes down to how you use it. So, next, I'll show you exactly how to use turmeric properly if you want to maximize its potential benefits, because preparation, timing, and combination matter far more than most people realize. Knowing that turmeric may support kidney health is one thing. Using it in a way your body can actually benefit from is another. Because here's the problem most people never hear about. Curcumin, the main active compound in turmeric, is poorly absorbed on its own. In plain terms, if you simply sprinkle a little turmeric powder into food occasionally and assume your body is fully using it, you may be overestimating the effect by quite a bit. Turmeric has promising properties, but only if enough of its active compounds actually make it into circulation. And this is where preparation matters. One of the simplest ways to improve turmeric absorption is to combine it with black pepper. Black pepper contains a natural compound called piperine, which has been shown to significantly increase curcumin absorption by slowing its breakdown in the body. That is why many higher quality turmeric supplements pair the two together. And if you are using turmeric in food or drinks, adding a small pinch of black pepper can make the preparation far more effective than turmeric alone. But that is only one part of the equation. Curcumin is also fat soluble, meaning it dissolves and absorbs better when taken with fat. That means turmeric often works better when consumed with olive oil, coconut milk, whole milk, Greek yogurt, avocado-based meals, nut butters, or healthy fats in breakfast foods. This is why traditional turmeric preparations often involve warm milk or oil-based cooking. It was not just culinary preference. It accidentally created a more bioavailable way to consume the compound. Now here is a practical example many people use. A simple turmeric morning drink can be made by combining warm water or milk of choice, 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of turmeric, a small pinch of black pepper, optional healthy fats such as coconut milk or a splash of cream, optional cinnamon or ginger for taste. This is often called golden milk or turmeric tonic. And while the drink itself is not magical, it creates a practical and consistent way to consume turmeric in a more absorbable form. Now, timing. Many people ask whether turmeric should be taken in the morning or at night. The truth is, timing matters less than consistency. That said, morning often works well because it helps anchor the habit. It may support hydration early in the day. It pairs naturally with breakfast. Many people tolerate it better with food in the morning. Others prefer evening if it fits their routine better. What matters most is regular use. Because turmeric is not a stimulant, it is not a fast-acting medication. It works through gradual biological influence, and that means sporadic use is unlikely to do much. Another mistake people make is assuming more must be better. So they start taking large spoonfuls, multiple capsules, or highly concentrated doses far beyond what they actually need. That is not smarter. It is simply unnecessary for most people. A moderate daily amount used consistently is generally more practical than aggressive megadosing. Because with compounds like this, the goal is not to overwhelm the body. The goal is to create repeated supportive input over time. Think of it like watering a plant. A little done regularly helps. Dumping a bucket on it once in a while is not the same thing. Now, let's talk expectations. If someone starts using turmeric properly, what might they notice? For kidney support specifically, many people notice nothing dramatic at first. And that is normal. Because turmeric's main potential value is not based on creating a sensation. It is based on supporting internal processes that happen quietly. Some people may notice less bloating, improved digestion, reduced general inflammation-related discomfort, better routine adherence to other healthy habits. But the deeper benefits, if they occur, are more likely to happen over weeks and months, not overnight. That realistic expectation matters because many people quit too early. They assume that because they did not feel a cleanse, nothing happened. But health support often works silently, just like the damage it helps protect against. And here is something equally important. Turmeric works best when it is part of a broader kidney supportive routine. Because no spice can overcome chronic dehydration, excess sodium, constant processed food intake, uncontrolled blood sugar, poor blood pressure management. Turmeric can support the system. It cannot compensate for a lifestyle that keeps overloading it. That is where many people get this wrong. They look for one miracle ingredient while ignoring the bigger picture. But when used alongside hydration, blood pressure control, balanced nutrition, and reduced processed food intake, turmeric may become one helpful piece of a much larger strategy. Now, before you rush to add it to your routine, there is one more critical thing you need to know. Because even though turmeric can be beneficial for many people, there are situations where using it carelessly may create problems instead of benefits. And there is one mistake many older adults make with turmeric that can quietly backfire if they are not aware of it. That's what we need to talk about next. At this point, turmeric may sound like an easy addition to almost anyone's routine. And for many people, in moderate amounts, it can be. But this is where responsible health advice matters. Because even natural compounds can create problems when used without context. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that because something is natural, it must automatically be harmless. That is not how physiology works. Anything that meaningfully affects the body can have downsides in the wrong situation. So before adding turmeric regularly, especially in concentrated forms, it is important to understand where caution may be needed. One group that should pay attention is people with a history of kidney stones, particularly oxalate-related stones. Turmeric naturally contains oxalates, compounds that in susceptible individuals may contribute to stone formation when consumed in high amounts. Now, this does not mean A normal culinary amount of turmeric is dangerous for everyone with a stone history. But if someone is taking large supplemental doses every day while already prone to kidney stones, that is a very different scenario. And that nuance matters. Another group that should be cautious is people taking blood-thinning medications. Turmeric may have mild blood-thinning effects in some individuals, particularly at higher supplemental doses. So if someone is on medications such as anticoagulants or antiplatelet therapy, adding concentrated turmeric supplements without discussing it with their clinician is not wise. There is also caution for individuals with certain gallbladder conditions. Turmeric can stimulate bile flow, which may be beneficial for some people, but potentially problematic for those with gallstones or biliary obstruction. Again, context matters. And perhaps most importantly, people with existing kidney disease, advanced kidney impairment, or those on dialysis should not assume that general wellness advice automatically applies to them. Once kidney function is significantly reduced, dietary recommendations often become far more individualized. Mineral intake, fluid balance, supplement tolerance, and medication interactions can all change. That means someone with diagnosed kidney disease should always discuss changes like this with their healthcare provider before starting. Now, beyond safety concerns, there are several common mistakes that prevent people from getting much benefit from turmeric at all. The first is using low-quality products. Many turmeric supplements on the market contain minimal standardized curcumin, poor absorption formulations, or questionable ingredient sourcing. So if someone chooses a supplement rather than food-based turmeric, quality matters. The second mistake is taking far too much. Some people hear that turmeric is helpful and immediately begin taking excessive doses, thinking they will speed up results. Instead, they end up with digestive upset, nausea, loose stools, medication interactions, or simply unnecessary expense. More is not automatically better. In fact, with many supportive compounds, the body often responds better to moderate, consistent use than aggressive overuse. The third mistake is relying on turmeric while ignoring the fundamentals. And this may be the biggest mistake of all, because no spice, no supplement, no drink, no detox routine can protect kidneys that are being continuously overwhelmed by poor daily habits. If someone is chronically dehydrated, eating excessive sodium, living with uncontrolled high blood pressure, running persistently elevated blood sugar, using certain medications excessively without medical guidance, then turmeric alone will not fix that. It may help support the environment, but it cannot override constant damage. And that is the message people need to hear more often. Health is rarely changed by one miracle ingredient. It is changed by repeated small inputs that either help the body or slowly burden it. Turmeric may be one of those helpful inputs, but only when placed in the right context. So if you choose to use it, think of it for what it truly is. Not a detox hack, not a magical cleanse, not a cure, but a supportive tool that may help reduce inflammatory burden and support the systems your kidneys rely on when used intelligently and consistently. And if there is one final takeaway I want you to remember, it is this. Your kidneys do not need dramatic cleansing. They need protection. They need lower inflammatory burden. They need proper hydration. They need healthy blood pressure. They need stable blood sugar. They need fewer things, forcing them to work harder than necessary. And sometimes, a small daily habit like using the right spice the right way can contribute to that bigger picture more than people realize. But the real power never comes from one ingredient alone. It comes from building a body that no longer makes your kidneys fight uphill every day. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe for more practical, evidence-based health guidance. And if you know someone who worries about kidney health, consider sharing this with them. They may need to hear that protecting the kidneys is often less about dramatic cleanses and more about quiet daily choices repeated over time.